Man, last weekend I got to hear the Joe Bonamassa band in Dayton. I was invited to sound check even. I went over there with my straight edges and my action gauge because I really wanted to see how he sets his guitars up. He was on the Three Kings tour, doing the music of Albert King, B.B. King, and Freddie King. And he had along the guitar that I made for Albert King, named Lucy, in 1972, and I got a chance to play her again. His tech, Mike Hickey, had some great trade secrets for us, too. It's a really big tour. They even travel with a kitchen and a chef. Joe can really play, and he brought a ton of guitars to play. That was fun talking with him about those guitars and getting to play them. Joe and I compared a newly built Flying V Lucy I just made to the original I made for Albert.
Now how old is this one?
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
I'll take it.
Right.
And he showed me the Fender Tweed amps he's using on this tour. There were 4 amps, but they were all set pretty much like this.
Right. Yeah, this guitar is a Snakebite, and this is one of my main live Les Pauls. I had Joe Glazier refret it. When you do refret something, the guitar seems to go into a little bit of a shock for a couple of weeks. But all you really got to do is just play the frets in. The big blues stuff with the bends. And all of a sudden, these nice new frets just got slightly worn in. And now the guitar is probably the best playing Les Paul I have. It's got a nice patina. I call it the Snakebite because of the Bigsby. I love the fact that the holes weren't filled. You're never going to undo that. So why even bother trying to hold it? Just got to burst with a couple holes in the top.
Snakebite.
Snakebite.
My friend Mike Hickey, he's the tech for the Joe Bonamassa band here in Dayton, Ohio. And he's stringing up the guitar I made Albert King back in 1972.
Lucy.
It gets played on one song on the Three Kings tour. I'm curious how he ties the strings on for Joe. Everyone does it different.
All right, first I'm just going to get rid of these worn out strings. Tying them on the way I do it is also for the ease of getting them off. So I can change a lot of strings quickly in one afternoon or in 1 hour and get quite a few. So all those are off just like that.
Souvenir.
Then we jam these out. And those look like you used Fender bass grommets, ferrules.
That's what they were.
Yeah?
Back then.
When you built this, it had Gibson humbuckers that you engraved.
I did. It said Albert King from Erlewine Instruments, May 1972.
1972. And
I have a picture of that.
And this
somewhere.
guitar was on the cover of Guitar Player in 1977.
Yep.
That's right. I had that issue. I had shorter hair then in 1977, but I still liked Albert King, and I didn't even really know much about him. Get the bottom string on, pull it up tight, set it in the saddle, and then one of the tricks is on a Gibson style instrument like this to go to the next tuner, then pull your string back, roll it over once, kink it, and you notice I'm keeping my hand up like this. I'm not going to run the string through the nut until it's tight. And then you get one over and one under and maybe an extra, but that's really all you need. You don't need to go like through and tie a sailor's knot and then you're trapped. When you got to change a string fast, you're trapped. And you get in the saddle, always cut it immediately. So if you cut all 6 at once, you could cut one of the brand new strings that you just put on. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. All the kids are psyched. All the blues fans get what they came for. And that's really all there is to it. So a lot of people like to top wrap the Les Paul. And I was breaking a lot of strings when I first did it. Plus I was getting my hand touching the end of the winding, which on the treble strings is often a sharp point. So I wanted to get the winding in further. You've got this end of the winding here, the thicker part of the string, and that can be scraping on your palm. But when I put it through now, and there's another ball end I slide on there, and that pulls the string back just a little, and you see now it's hard to see this, but there's less winding sticking out, so it won't be up where my palm might hit. And then I'll wrap it around the top on a Les Paul in order to do two things. First, look cool like Billy Gibbons. Second, keep the string from touching the back of the bridge and caving in the bridge, which is a common problem on an old Les Paul. This one's starting to cave, but it's been in service since 1959, so we're gonna just leave it there and deal with it. But yeah, basically that's it. And then when you pull your string through, you don't have that piece sticking up into your hand.
I'm always curious what the space is underneath the strings to know how high that Tune-o-matic is. 3964. That's how far that bridge is up off the top. I'm always curious about that. This is the one that has a pretty low action, and Joe just raised it up. It was too low for him. And sitting on this rest, I get 90 thousandths under the E and 80 under that E.
On that ES345 there, that's probably the lowest action that Joe's using. There's a 355 where the frets are so low that everything's just low, but it buzzes, and so we just don't play that open string, and everybody's happy, you know.
If you really want to check it, you got to get in that position, which isn't easy to do at this venue. It's maybe 82 thousandths. And this is a perfectly good action for me right here. The neck is straight.
Most of those old Gibsons are really straight. They stay.
Well, a lot of people like to loosen the truss rod and get relief.
A little bit of relief.
But then you lose tone. As soon as you don't tighten the rod and it's not jamming the sound, try it with all these guitars. Just loosen the truss rod on a good guitar, and the sound will be gone.
It gets rubbery.
Yep, that's the word for it. Floppy. On my way to Dayton, I was halfway out of town and forgot my string action gauge, and I turned around and went back and got it. That's how important it is. Because instead of reading like 1964ths or 128ths, you can read 80, 90, 100. You read in thousandths. It's really accurate.